afternoon, everyone. I am Ms. Quartero and our research title proposal is entitled Preference of Students in Selecting STEM as a Course in Senior High School, a Narrative Study. As we all know, students nowadays are choosing the STEM as their strand for the senior high. Some students think that senior high is just a waste of time. According to the National Science Foundation, STEM was first coined as an educational term in the early 2000s. STEM is under K-12 programs. When we say K-12, it is the 12 years of basic education, comprised of 6 years of elementary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school. STEM education is a newly emerged philosophy that focuses notably on science and mathematics development, but also incorporates technology and engineering. STEM education aims at enhancing the workforce complementary to the STEM field in nurturing STEM literacy. Now, let's move on for the objectives of the research. This study preference of students in selecting STEM as a course in senior high school, a narrative study, seeks to attain the following objectives. Now, here are the objectives: to critically investigate the benefits of STEM course in senior high school, to understand the importance of STEM course in senior high school, to establish a good relationship with students that K-12 curriculum was not a waste of time. For the statement of the problem, let's welcome Mr. Sahara.
Thank you, Ms. Quartero. I am Mr. Sahara, and I'm here to discuss with you the statement of the problem of our research study. So as you can see in our presentation, it was indicated there the questions that was ought to be acknowledged. So we, as the researcher, we want to know how did grade 12 senior high school student handle the difficulty of having the strand of STEM. We aim to perceive the benefits of getting the strand of STEM in Bataan Christian School. We also have to gather some informations, thoughts, opinions, or experiences of students in Bataan Christian School about having the strand of STEM. For discussing the significance of the study, please welcome Ms. Salaria.
Thank you, Mr. Sahara. For the significance of the study, this is deemed to understand that taking science courses for grade 12 students serves as preparation for their preferred course upon entering college. Our study might get benefit by the students, especially the grade 12 students, to assure themselves that choosing STEM course is not a waste of their time, but an introduction to their course in future in college, since their subject is connected in the future discussion in their college classes. This study might also benefit the parents, for them to be assured that their children who will take STEM course is not a bad decision, and this will give them assurance that their children will be ready and can adjust in their future course in college. For discussing the teachers, please welcome Mr. Dichoso.
Thank you, Ms. Alaria, for discussing parents and students. This study would benefit the teachers to be aware of what's happening to the student. The study intended to help students from dealing such problem. This study also benefit various perspectives to maintain both student and parents. For discussing the future researcher, please welcome Ms. Passion.
This study, future researchers will be able to generate a focus on this study. This study can be a new foundation for presenting a new research study for the improvement of society. Future researchers can generate a new output that focuses on the study of preference of students in selecting a science course. They will see if the science course is helping students in their future careers.
Thank you, Ms. Passion. Our study focuses on the benefits that a grade 12 STEM student of Bataan Christian School might get when they will enter in college. We only include the grade 12 STEM student of Bataan Christian School as our respondent because we all know that this is their last year being a senior high school student. In this study, we intended to determine the number of students whose preference was science course, and it is related to the course that they're planning to take in tertiary education. This study is delimited to grade 12 STEM senior high school students of Bataan Christian School by surveying the number of students whose preference was science course in senior high school. For some of the terms that are presently defined in our study and for the better understanding of the ready, here is Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Mr. Magdayala, for the scope and eliminations. So now, I'm here to discuss the definition of terms of our study. First is a narrative study. It is the study where the researcher studies the life of one or more individuals in a specific situation. It is what we have done. A narrative study to those students of Bataan Christian School who chose STEM course in their senior high school. Next is the STEM course. It is a course or track is the other term of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics strand. STEM course is one of the important thing in our research because this is the main topic. We talk about students who are took up STEM course. Next is accumulation. It is the number of quantity of something that has gently collected. Next is the interdisciplinary. It is combining academic discipline or profession. This is what students need in order to pass their chosen profession which STEM course. And last is the K-12 curriculum. It is a 12-year program for students. The last 2 years in this curriculum is to help students to be prepared for college. This is where STEM course taught.
Our research Title II proposal is entitled A Narrative Study of Peer Pressure Among Grade 11 Senior High School Students of Bataan Christian School in Choosing Strand. As we all know, entering senior high school is not an easy task. Students feel pressured when choosing their strand in senior high school. Peer pressure is a direct influence or impact on an individual. It can result in either a positive or a negative effect or both. Some fundamental causes of peer pressure are related to age-appropriate behavior. Adolescents develop a strong desire to fit in with their peers and being accepted by them. Senior high school has 3 strands. These are the Accountancy, Business, and Management strand, Humanities and Social Science strand, and Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics strand. Senior high school is one of the most crucial years of a student's life. It molds them on how mature they will become as they progress into a well-spoken and well-developed adults in the near future. Now let's move on for the objectives of the research. This study on a narrative study of peer pressure among grade 11 senior high school students of Bataan Christian School in Choosing Strand seeks to attain the following objectives. First, to critically investigate if students are peer pressured regarding in deciding their strand. Second, to raise awareness about the stress and pressure caused by the deciding of strand for senior high school students. Third, to understand the effect of peer pressure on the students. For the statement of the problem, let's welcome Mr. Sahara.
Thank you, Ms. Quartero. Again, I am Mr. Sahara, and I'm here to discuss with you the statement of the problem in our study. So as you can see in our presentation, it is indicated there the 5 questions of this study that was needed to be answered by the respondents. So we as the researcher, we aim to know if the grade 11 STEM students of Bataan Christian School are peer pressured by choosing their respective strand. We also want to know how peer pressure affects their mental health and how did they handle the situation. We have to gather some informations, thoughts, opinions, or experiences in the grade 11 STEM students of Bataan Christian School when it comes to peer pressure in choosing a strand. For discussing the significance of the study, here is Ms. Salaria.
Thank you, Mr. Sahara. For the significance of the study, this study aims to comprehend their psychological class perspective and raise awareness about stress and pressure caused by deciding strand for senior high school students. Let me first discuss with you on how will the Students, especially the students who feel pressured, that they don't need to be afraid to tell that they are being pressured in choosing their strand in senior high school. For the parents, the benefit that they might get in this study is for them to know if their children are being peer pressured in choosing their strand. It can also help them on how they can guide their children to overcome the struggles and burden that they are experiencing from social and psychological perspective. Please welcome Mr. Vasquez for discussing the teacher.
Our study might get benefit from the teachers because they can know that the students are pressured in choosing strand that can cause difficulties in school so that they can help their student in their chosen strand. Their reasoning that their chosen strand is difficult. They can guide their student as a teacher. Their role is to give adequate learning in a class.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. This study would also benefit the future researcher. The researcher would have a chance to modify the study by creating a new idea to every student from the pressure and influence of their peers. For the scope and delineation, here is Mr. Madriaga.
Thank you, Mr. Dichoso. Our study is intended if the youth of grade 11 STEM student of Bataan Christian School is affected by peer pressure regarding the strand decision. I give you a little background about peer pressure. Peer pressure means influencing other people, changing their decision and behavior. Peer pressure can be positive or negative. Why did we choose grade 11 students as our respondent in this study? Because the current grade 11 students were the ones who were required to choose their respective strands. These strands begins to study the subject that they're going to introduce to the career path that they prepare to take. In this study, we choose grade 11 senior high school students of Bataan Christian School to answer some questions through surveying the number of students who are affected by peer pressure in choosing their respective strand. For some of the terms that are personally defined in our study and for the better understanding of the reading, here is Ms. Passion.
Thank you, Mr. Madriaga. For the definition of terms of our study, here are the terms. First is the narrative study. It is about the method of our research. It's about collecting and telling a story or stories. Next is the peer pressure. It is the influence of people that are forcing someone to decide when he or she does not agree with pursuing. Next is the standitis, or also called track or course. It is where senior high students pick their stand, whether it's ABM, HUMS, or STEM. Next is the social interaction. It happens in a large social group. By this can help our study to be easier for us to conduct. And lastly is the psychological theory. It is related to the mental and emotional state of a person that is affected by peer pressure.
This is the end of our presentation. We hope that you'll accept our research proposal. The floor is now open for your recommendation and questions. Thank you.